Big changes are here for 2025 retirement accounts. I feel like this is the third year in a row that I've done this video, but here we go. There are some big changes coming in 2025, just like there were in 2024 and 2023. Why? Do you remember the Secure 2.0 Act? It passed at the end of 2022, created some big time retirement changes. They all phase in over different years. One particularly huge change is coming in 2025, especially if you're close to retirement age. I'm going to break that down for you right now. So there are changes up and down the line for almost every type of retirement account this year, but the big one is the idea of a super catch-up contribution. This is now a thing for 401ks, 403bs, for 457 plans. Think large employer retirement accounts here. And there's also something in there for simple IRAs, for small business retirement plans, which I'll get to in just a minute. Now, this super catch-up is brand new for 2025. We got to go all the way back to 2001 to see the birth of the original catch-up contribution. It was an extra amount of money that you could put into your retirement accounts once you reached age 50. The idea there was that you could really start to bump up your retirement savings by having a larger limit on top of the normal limit. That catch-up contribution has gone up and up over the years, and currently it sits at $7,500 on top of the regular limit. The regular limit also changed. I'll get to that in just a second too. So that's the old news. The new news, the super catch-up, is a new provision starting in 2025 for people ages 60 to 63. That's people who will be turning 60 in 2025 up to people who are age 63 in 2025. These folks get a supercharged catch-up contribution. Instead of $7,500, they can put in $11,250 per year. Now that we've talked all kinds of catch-up contributions, how about just the regular old run-of-the-mill contribution limits? What happened to those in 2025? Well, they get some changes as well. And so the base contribution amount for company retirement plans got a bump of $500 this year, got a bump of $500 last year also, but $500 this year. So you can now get a total of $23,500 into your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. Here's what all of this adds up to in 2025. Here are the new limits, including any eligible catch-up contributions. If you're under the age of 50, it's that base contribution amount I just told you, $23,500 per year. If you're between 50 and 59 years old in 2025, it's the base amount plus $7,500 catch-up for a grand total of $31,000. At 60, you hit super catch-up territory. So now we're looking at $34,750 total maximum. And then starting at 64, you revert back to the 50 to 59 numbers. So back to $31,000. Now, why did they do that? Why did they remove the super catch-up starting at 64? I have no idea. It seems pretty foolish to me, but a lot of times things are written one way and they go into effect and the folks in Washington realize it makes no sense and they correct it later. My guess is that at some point the super catch-up becomes a 60 and over thing, just like the 50 and over thing that it's been for a long time. But for 2025, you got to be between 60 and 63 to get the benefit. Something else to be aware of. All of the numbers that I'm talking about in this video are money that you put into your retirement accounts. This is money that comes from your side. None of this has anything to do with the company match. All of that money goes on top of these numbers. So when I say under age 50 can put a maximum of $23,500 into a 401k, that's money from you, from your paycheck into your account. It doesn't include any match that the company is giving you. Sometimes I'll talk to folks when we're doing retirement planning and they tell me they're maxing out their contributions, but they're counting the company match in part of that total. And so they're really shortchanging themselves without knowing it. If you're really trying to get every last dollar put away for the future, make sure you're taking full advantage of all of these numbers and don't accidentally shortchange yourself. Now, another important thing to note here is that this money can go into either a traditional 401k or a Roth 401k option, and getting $34,000+ a year into a Roth if you're 60 years old without having to do any of the mega backdoor acrobatics is a really solid move. To that end, more plans are coming online with Roth 401k or 403b options, because that's another part of the Secure Act that I'll get to in just a second. But my challenge to you is this: if you haven't looked at your plan in a while, check with your HR folks and see if it's an option for you. And if so, start shifting some of your contributions to the Roth side of the ledger. Build that tax-free retirement money. Future you is going to thank you. By the way, if you haven't seen me before, my name's Antonio Cibella. I'm a financial advisor who specializes in helping folks retire early. We got a ton of good info on the channel. It's up to like 160 something videos at this point. So if you're working towards retirement and you're trying to learn everything that you can, subscribe to the channel. It's growing every day. Come back and learn some more stuff with us here in the future. Now back to the topic of Roth 401ks, another big change is on the way. And although this one doesn't hit until 2026, it's something to be aware of, especially for high wage earners. Starting in 2026, anyone making over $145,000 and over the age of 50 has to make all of their catch-up contributions in Roth dollars. That means that they're going to be taxed on that money before it goes into the account. Now, this is one of those things that got put into the bill because politicians could quantify the extra tax dollars it would bring in. Instead of those people getting the deduction by making traditional contributions, now they're going to have to pay taxes on that money upfront and put it into a Roth option. A quick note about that. It's a 2026 rule, and it's for catch-up contributions and only for high wage earners, over $145,000 in this case. Those folks can still make their regular contributions either to the traditional side or the Roth side, but all of the catch-up money is going to be Roth next year, whether you like it or not. It was actually supposed to go into effect in 2024, but there was a lot of pushback because a lot of retirement plans didn't offer Roth 401k options yet. Starting in 2026, this is mandatory. The good part about that is that we're going to see nearly every 401k plan with a Roth option in the not too distant future, which opens up some great planning opportunities for basically everybody watching this video, whether that last rule applies to you or not. Now, if you work for a smaller company, I didn't forget about you too. There's something in there for you. You likely have a simple IRA company retirement plan. These are for companies with less than 100 employees. They're easier to start. They're cheaper to maintain. So oftentimes small businesses use these as their retirement plan instead of a 401k. You got some good news coming your way as well. Your base contribution limit goes up $500 in 2025. And so now it's sitting at $16,500 for the year. Catch-up contribution for 50 to 59 stays at $3,500. So that's a total of $20,000 that can go into a simple IRA if you're 50 to 59. You also have access to the super catch-up. In this case, it equals $5,250. So you got a maximum contribution amount of $21,750 for those between 60 and 63 inside of a simple IRA. Man, that was a lot of numbers. Finally, we come to your regular old IRA accounts, both traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. They got no such super catch-up treatment, nor did they get a bump in contribution amounts. So for 2025 for these accounts, no news is, well, no news. They still stand at $7,000 as a max contribution under 50 with a $1,000 contribution as a catch-up for those 50 and older. So a total of $8,000 can go in for those folks. Now, IRAs come with a whole bunch of rules. You probably know this on who can contribute and whether they can deduct those contributions based on your age and whether you're covered by a work plan and what your income amount is. There were some changes to all of these numbers for 2025, both the maximum income that you can have to contribute to a Roth IRA and the income limit to be able to deduct your traditional contributions. But alas, I've buried you with numbers today. If you stuck with me so far, thank you. If I put all that stuff in this video, it might just put you to sleep, and I don't need anybody dropping their phone and breaking it on my account. So I'll get up a video in the next few weeks with all of that info so you can check it out there. And when it's up, I'll link it right up here in the corner. In the meantime, until then, I got another good one for you. I'm going to put it down here in the bottom corner. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.